Hello everyone and welcome to the RNG University. On tonight's episode, Esper Control. So this week we've been doing Esper. I've tried Esper Legends, which is an aggressive deck. I've tried Esper Midrange. Obviously the next stage is super late stage control deck. So I found a very sort of finicky control deck that I'm going to try out for Esper, and I'm not really quite sure how well this deck runs, but it might be fun. Let's first change the art style because this is definitely not a Raffine deck anymore. So the way this Esper deck works is lots of removal in the beginning, and towards the mid game, lots of Planeswalkers to try to hit the sweet power level of a control deck, and to supplement that, we have a farewell to sustain our Planeswalker in play, and we have Bankbuster for card draw. So let's look at the actual deck list. I also put it into a weird kind of a separation between the active plays and a passive play. So we're gonna look first at the passive plays. Some of the reactionary cards in the deck. We have 4 cut down, 4 make disappear, and 4 go for the throw. A lot of removal. And that makes sense because we have a lot of Planeswalkers, and we have to keep them alive by removing opponent's creature the best we can. Then we have 2 Depopulate and 2 Farewell. This is strictly from the deck list that I found, and I'm not really certain that Depopulate is as good as Farewell. And if I was to control this deck, I might run 4 Farewells and no Depopulate. But hey, you never know. Maybe there's a lot of soldier decks that Depopulate could capitalize on. I still think Farewell is a lot better card, but let's try it out in today's format. And then that is all of the passive plays that reacts to whatever opponents land on the board. Then in our active plays, we got 4 Bankbuster, obviously card draw, perhaps ramp, secret ramp when we tap it 3 times. That's something. It's not nothing. And then in the 3 drop, we have Wedding Announcement, 4 Wedding Announcements, and then a bunch of Planeswalkers. We got 1 Liliana, 1 Kaito Shizuki, 4 Wandering Emperor, because of course that's kind of a reactive play on her own as well, but also an active play. We can use her to make Samurai. We can use her to put some counter on things. Still sort of active, sort of passive. It is a choices that we get to make. Right. Then we have 1 Shieldred, the only non-Planeswalker play that we can make that's creature based. Right. So that's. Shieldred is definitely good. If we draw a lot of cards, Shieldred can get us life. If our opponent is trying to attack us with a Raffine, well, Shieldred is going to drain them the heck out. And then we have 1 Soaring, just card draw, but maybe also a life gain. We have 1 Teferi, who slows the sunset. He's not very important. We're not using him in conjunction with the Celestis or a Mana Rock like we did before. He's really just there to kind of scare our opponent. If we get lucky, maybe we can combo him with the Bankbuster, but mainly he's just there to soak up some damage and get us a card. And the big Teferi, Big Daddy Teferi himself, Temporal Pilgrimage, just one off, because again, this is not our only win con, and we don't want our opponents to think that this is why we want to win or how we want to win. He's just there to get additional cards, create blockers or attackers, and maybe an ultimate, but probably not. Right, so that's kind of the Esper deck list. All of the impactful cards are in Planeswalkers. So again, a very heavy, expensive list. All Esper decks basically are. And then in the land base, this is going to get way worse. So we have 3 Adarkar Ways, 3 Deserted Beach, 3 Cave of Koilos, 3 Shatter Sanctum, 3 Shipwreck Marsh, 3 Underground River, and 4 Raffine Tower. All the rare lands in the world. We're a control deck, so we can afford to run a little bit more tap land. And in addition to that, I run also a little bit more of a ping land, just so that we always get the land base that we want. And in the monocolor lands, we only have 1 Eiganjo, 1 Otawara, 1 Takenuma, and then 1 plane. No other basic lands. If we get basic land check, at least we got 1 plane, but that's about it. All right, so a lot of our lands are dual color based because we have 3 color deck, and it's a lot more impactful that we hit the right color early game to stay alive. So that is what I found on the deck list. When it comes to this Esper deck, I feel it is a strong contender for a strong deck. However, when it comes to control decks, it is really, really crucial that you don't get, for a lack of a better term, the bad side of a coin on the shuffler. Alright, the reason for that is because if the shuffler really mess with your card draw, well, you're gonna be in trouble since in a control deck you have to do a lot of card draws. If you get flooded or mana screwed, you're not gonna be able to get to things that you want to play, and that is a big problem in these late stage games that these control decks meant to pan out. So let's see how it works. Right? I talk a lot about nonsense. Let's first fight against. Oh no, it's the hero cow. All right, if it's a hero cow, we don't stand a chance. So might as well quit now, right? Opponent goes first. So again, might as well quit now. We got 2 lands into a bank buster and a go for the throw. Since our opponent's going first, I'm going to keep because we have 2 turns to draw an extra land. We have 26 lands in the deck, so hopefully it's not too bad. No, we got a land, so that's good enough. We're land number 3, and our opponent is perhaps Grixis, but at the very least, black-red. What was that? Rakdos. So, if it's Rakdos, should we hold the go for the throat? Or should we put out the bank buster? No. Tempo advantage is very important, so it's very scary if our opponent overruns us. He's probably going to play Fable this turn. And we have to kill Fable so that he doesn't overrun us with the Fable mana. And we have to hold up, go for the throw so that we don't fall behind too much. And putting out a bank buster against an aggressive start like our opponent's having is not that impactful right now because bank buster is not going to do anything until we have at least 4 mana to hold up so that we can hold up another go for the throw and then activate bank buster, right? So in this kind of style, we don't have to rush too much in getting it out because we're not a control versus control game. I hope that makes sense. Oh, opponent just passed to my turn. He has 3 mana. He's not playing anything, which makes me want to go for the throw the Bloodtide Harvester, but I'm not going to. And there's a reason why I'm not going to. Because I was going to use go for the throw on his Shieldred. But now I kind of want to cut down the Bloodtide Harvester. And I can't play the wedding announcement anyway, so I think it's not that bad. But now that I have cut down the hold up, I can play my Bank Buster. He has 3 mana. Hopefully he doesn't have an Abrade. If he does, opponent's got everything and I got nothing. I could hold up, cut down, and go for the throw, but that effectively gives on my whole turn without a way of manipulating my draw next turn. This way, if he doesn't have an Abrade, at least next turn I can use the Bank Buster to draw a card if I don't top deck a land. Opponent's really thinking about whether or not to use the Blood token. I would use it if I was him, because I'm not if I was him, my opponent has nothing on the board. The Blood token is not going to be impactful for the Bloodtide Harvester, and the Bloodtide Harvester against currently looking like a Dimir deck probably is not going to last that long. That's just my opinion, though. What I definitely wouldn't do is rope on my opponent's turn when I have all my lands open. There's how many plays does he have? What does his sleeve say? MMXXIII. What is that like? Was M 50? No, 2M makes no sense. So 100, 223. Is that what MMXS33 means? Roman numeral rope. I don't know what's going on. Come on, opponent. Takes an hour just to play, just to cycle is Xander Lounge. Okay, well, you know, I guess that's the first game we're facing today. I honestly have no respect for anyone who uses Jace Avatar, because normally people who use Jace Avatar are players who net decks. I net deck all the time. I don't know how to say it. Player who only net decks and think that they have the best playstyle because they found the best deck on the internet. It's not bad to net deck, it's just sometimes it needs a little bit of creativity thrown in to make your play more pronounced. Just my opinion. Probably Shieldred coming out. This is definitely Rakdos. He's played 4 lands and none of those are blue. He plays his Bank Buster. Huh. Does he want to Abrade my Bank Buster so that his Bank Buster rings? Alright, well, I'm gonna cut this down. I'll take another 3 damage for no reason. He has 2 mana. Probably to activate a Bankbuster. Either that or Abrade my Bankbuster. There it is. If he has an Abrade, it was gonna happen regardless. Alright. We have drawn all the lands that does not activate white mana. So yeah, it's one of those games. I do think the Shuffler really like Esper decks, except when it's Esper Control. But I think every time I play Esper Control, I've kind of been mana screwed to some extent. But at the very least, right, I don't think this deck is that threatening. He does have a Bankbuster that is kind of scary to me. The Ren Spider. We got a white mana, and he gave me an extra mana to activate things if I want to. It's kind of funny. So, time to announce my wedding. I wonder where this is going to go. Opponent is slow playing us. You know, in tournaments, if you slow play, that's actually a finable offense or a markable offense, and they'll kick you out for that. I wish you could do that on Arena, honestly. Look at all that. Very scary stuff. Yeah. Another Bankbuster. You got it. Attack. I'm not gonna block. I'm at 17. How would I block? That's just a counterspell. I can't use it for anything, so all of my mana is kind of tapped out, huh? Now I can use the hold up counterspell, but make this appear basically does nothing to this whole board here. So guess we'll Teferi. I guess we'll Teferi. Go for the throw also doesn't do anything against that whole deck. So just draw some cards.
Well, here I am. Another mystery solved.
That's not the card I wanted to draw, but hey, you know what? I have the best card against that whole deck. All I need is another white mana, of which this deck has so many of. It's actually crazy. Well, let's see where that was going. He wants to kill Teferi. He needs to attack with more than one. He's not going to attack with this to my face? Do you know how this game works? Okay. I just needed one white mana.
But the body,
and
it hurts.
The deck refused to give it to me. It'll give me a blue mana instead. Well, that's lethal on board against me next turn. But hey, my opponent doesn't know that, right? He's got the 1 mana. I don't know if he can do anything. He can crew his Bankbusters. Go for the throats. It's not a bad card. The only problem is that against this deck, it's not doing anything. Opponent's still roping. Honestly, these style of game are the worst. Where you're behind, and you're probably gonna lose, but you have a very small chance of winning. But your opponent is just being a... I don't want to say something bad, so... being a hero cow. I mean, if he has a Brotherhood's End, I'll just die, right? He's gonna draw cards still. Okay. Can I get a plane, please? Only basic land I have in the deck is plane, by the way. So, not having the second white mana is absolutely hurtful. Shouldn't be allowed. Should not be allowed. Alright, so attacking for, what was that? 12 damage? I can kill one of these. I don't want to kill the Skitter Beam because if it's in the graveyard, he might be able to do something with it. I just take 12 damage out of nowhere. Yeah, looks fair. You're in mid-combat. What could you have absolutely play, you horrendous player, you? I'm not as salty about the shuffler. I know the way Arena works is that they want to incentivize bat players so that it's not just, you know, 5 people playing the whole game every day. But what I'm peeved about is people playing slow playing me. Oh, look at playing. Alright, well, now we got something going. Alright, so we'll exile all artifacts and all graveyards. I can't hold up more than one land. So make this appear won't do anything. But you gotta do what you gotta do. All artifacts, all graveyards. Go. Of course he's gonna look. Ah, that's not what I meant to click, stupid mouse. Oh well. If he has a hasting that kills me, this block won't mean anything either. Cityscape Leveler. Now I have a 1/1. Now I have a 1/1. Can't kill it. Can't exile it. So 1, 2, 3, 4 to play the Wandering Emperor. And then I have 2, 3 mana to not hold up anything. Alright, let's just pass turn. I don't want to play the Bankbuster because the Cityscape Leveler can target it. And I want to just wait for it. But 2 go for the throw is really bad against this deck, specifically. Milestone and Weak Stone, huh? 1, 2, 3. 3 mana, which means that if I casualty it, there. Pay 4 or it gets countered. He's still even roping on me casualtying. Does he not know how casualties work? Oh, he's just a bad player. Oops. Okay, what's next? No attack. No attack. That's interesting. Well, I'll go to my turn. Because if you're not going to attack, I'm going to put out my Bankbuster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 mana, meaning that I could use it to draw a card, right? Oh, another counterspell. Interesting. I didn't think he would not attack. I guess I kind of am telegraphing that Wandering Emperor very easily. But he paid for the casualty on the Milestone and Weak Stone. I assume he was gonna do what he's gonna do. Now my go for the throw actually might do something. Attack! You know you want to get rid of a Bankbuster? Look how enticing it is. Oh, well, I guess you can do that. Full of a Braids in your deck, isn't it? Pass to attack. And turn? Okay, well. I got a bunch of go for the throats. Hey, Cave of Coilos. This means now I can cast my Wedding Announcement. And I have 2 white mana to hold up for Wandering Emperor. This is trampled though, so I have to exile it in an attack. Which means that if he is a Skitter Beam, I won't be able to do anything against it. Shieldra, on the other hand, I can kill. So I guess go for the throw isn't useless. You want to attack? You don't want to attack. Well, then bye to your Shieldra. I can cycle this. Do I need more mana? I don't need more mana. I need to cycle. Alright, well, let's pass turn. Fable's gonna flip though. That's annoying. Brings back the Shieldred. 1, 2, 3, 4. He could pay. So, 1, 2. I guess it makes sense for me to cycle first. No, I don't want to tap the black mana. I will tap colorless, colorless, and a blue. I have a lot of blue. So, let me cycle. This way I don't get pinged by the Shieldred. And, make him pay 4, it's not really worth it. Dude! You take an hour for your turn, and now you're gonna whine at my go? Alright, guess we'll have to draw. Go down to 5. Shieldred off. Shieldred off. That's not really going to help us, huh? Yeah, unfortunately, longest game I've ever played with Control, and we're still going to end up losing because Hero Cow is just a cow, man. Absolute cow of a player. Go for the throw. Of course they have it. Okay, and when it attacks, right, he can still destroy a permanent? Yeah, I think that's game. Well, I'm not going to automatically pass turn. But I will let him attack. See what he destroys. Skitter Beam. We can counter that. But then we can't really do anything with our Wandering Emperor, which means that those two attacking us will kill us. So, goodbye. We could counter the spell, but it's not good enough. All day long, it's just been not getting that one land. Well, that's Control for you. Like I said, it's disheartening when you play Control because the Shuffler usually is against you. Shufflers do not like people playing slow games. And in addition to that, when you meet players who really are just obnoxious, it's very difficult to play on an even ground. That's why in Arena people don't play Control. In real-life Magic and paper Magic, there's a lot of Control players, and they're some of the nicer players that I've met because they're not, you know... Aggressive players are generally aggressive in their personality, and when you're in the FNM, it's too aggressive, for lack of a better term. But on Arena, everyone is playing aggressive because you just want things to be over. And that's not how Magic works. You don't want the game to end. You want to have fun with the game. Of course, opponent goes first, again. That is the style that we notice in today's... wrong. That's a slight misplay there. I should drop the Shipwreck Marsh on my turn 1 because I could have a white-blue land and a blue-black land. Right? Alright, make this appear. Get out of here, you. So, Esper versus probably also Esper. I don't know. So far, it's just my black. Orzhov. So far, it's just Orzhov. Which, I mean, being able to catch a wedding announcement with our counterspell is insanely good. Now, we even have this open. So, let's start attacking. They are Esper, Raffine Tower. 5 mana. They could even have Invoke. Alright, he's not going to play anything. Should I Emperor and not waste my mana? No. Should have Empered. Well, it's alright. Let's go into combat. Let's see if he wants to Emperor my 1/1s. He might. Wandering Emperor. Do I want to counter a Wandering Emperor? I think it calls for a counterspell. We got to draw a card, but unfortunately, that's at the end of the turn, so I can't. Well, I couldn't play Liliana anyways. Only 1 black mana, 6 mana. He can fare well, but he Shieldrits, which is fair. And the Ludwig. Oh, okay, so it's the aggressive legendary deck. We also have 6 mana, but he has 2 creatures, so we can't make him sack the Shieldrit with our Liliana. We can tap the Shieldrit with our Teferi. How good is that? Whereas if we just play our own Shieldrit, unless that one card or the card he draws is a removal, our Shieldrit is gonna reign supreme. Liliana make him discard his last card, but I have 6 mana, right? Playing a 3 mana is not that good. Whereas if I play a 4 mana card, it's probably more impactful. In fact, let's just... No, I feel like I should play a Shieldred. I was thinking about not playing anything and just hold up the Wandering Emperor, but he's going to have all his lands open next turn, so my Wandering Emperor is going to catch a counterspell. He's going to attack. No, he's not. It's not Menace. There's a removal. So he does have that run removal. He can attack with the Shieldred. That's fine. He didn't attack with Shieldred though. That's less fine. But I guess we can make him sack a creature. Raffine is just going to kill Liliana. But Raffine has to attack to kill Liliana, right? So there's still that. And we can hold up Wandering Emperor still. Kinda had to do it there. Sacrifice a creature.
But I'm taking the...
Sacrifices must be made.
Because he's gonna sacrifice his Raffine? That's insane. I would not do that. Of all the creatures I would have sacrificed. Raffine is card draw. He didn't sacrifice his Ludwig. And Raffine is flying. Okay. He wants to transform into Raffine, maybe? Transform into a Shieldred. Is he gonna go to my turn? That's not very smart. I mean, I'll take all the damage if you let me do this.
You'll be safe. I have got new moves to teach you.
Oh no. A lot of damage. You know how this deck is full of Planeswalkers? This is how it gets scary. I get to untap 1 artifact, which there isn't any. 1 creature, let's tap your Ludwig guy, and now untap 1 land. So, now I can exile your little guy right here. And he's gone. Look at that.
This is what you get for hurting my people.
Now what? Denick. Ooh, scary. I can't target graveyards now. I guess I should be scared. Except I'm not. You sure you want to do that? That's just feeding my kills. You have no cards in hand. Our opponent does not know how to play an Esper deck, so he's just feeding us to win. There it is. Goodbye. I don't know what was going on, but that deck was... He had everything going, and he has so many misplays just to throw us the game. So, hey, you know what? Esper Control can win a game. Maybe. funny thing, right? So let's look at the whole play style of today's Esper Control deck, because I really want to talk about it rather than play more games. I feel like the discussion is more up. When it comes to Esper Control deck, the land base is very important, and we lost the first game mainly because our land base was hurting us. No, not the land base. The land colors that we drew was hurting us. Look at all these white mana. 1, 2, 5, 8. What is that? 11, 14, 18. I can do math. I can totally do math. Right? There's 18 white mana producing lands, and we drew 1 for 7 or 8 turns. So that's why we lost that game. Having farewell out against a opponent's board full of artifacts would have helped a lot. This is also why I don't like Depopulate as much. Go for the Throw, on the other hand, I think it's fair, right? I think it's better than Infernal Grasp, just because it is basically destroy any creature we want as long as it's not artifact, and we don't take damage. There's a lot of aggressive decks. We have to kind of stop the bleed. So in terms of that game, right, I feel like we drew very badly, and that's why we lost. The second game, I think it was a fair game, right? Our opponent had a chance, we had a chance, and our opponent basically gave away his only chance by, for some reason, focusing on Shieldred and not Raffine. Raffine is so good. When he has to sacrifice a creature, of all the creatures he should have sacked, Raffine should be the last card. It's Ward, it connives when it attacks, so he gets card draw. It's got everything going, but he didn't do it. So that's why he lost. Both of the players, I think they're not that good. Not to say that there's something wrong with not knowing how to play. Maybe they're beginners, right? But what I do want to say is, you gotta learn as you're playing these style. When you're playing a 3-color deck, it's very tricky, and you have to navigate the type of cards you're playing, the land base that you're using, and exactly the target well, not the target, but the way your opponent should be targeted, right? The deck they're playing should reflect on how you will play out your own deck. That's very important, especially for a 3-color deck, which has a lot of different permutations. If you're just playing a mono white aggro, there's no permutation. You pair creatures down and you turn them sideways. But with 3-color control deck, that's a lot of thinking involved. That's why a lot of these games last longer, but it's satisfying when you pull out a very long game and end up winning. It is very satisfying, but it's also very disheartening when you end up playing a very long game because your opponent slow plays and you still lose. But that's the way playing Esper Control works. It's still my favorite style to play in a lot of different formats, especially when we have an older format where the card power level is higher and just sling counter spells and removals to stop your opponent from comboing off on turn 1 or 2. Those are very fun to kind of a tricky maze to navigate around. And even in today's modern, or not modern, I guess this is standard meta, when you play today's standard meta with slower Esper Control style, it's still very fun to figure out how to stop your opponent from overrunning you with their cards. Right? And that's the style of playing Esper Control. That's what I like about this deck. Now, I don't think it's the best of every version of Esper, but it could be the most fun if you really like figuring out how to stop your opponent from killing you, and then just make them quit eventually because they can't kill you anymore. Right? That's the style for Esper, and that's what I got for you today. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you guys next time.